For when they go out there, they are easy targets. And as I said, there are no geographical boundaries anymore. So us being in the what we perceived at one point the security of the city of Philadelphia with our large numbers, that means absolutely nothing. People are angry and people are scared. Today is not a conversation about who's right or who's wrong. It's not a conversation about that. Today's conversation is about how do we weather and withstand. As believers, what do we do? The easy answer is that we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although those of us who have struggled in faith, as I said, we will turn to other stuff. Some of us will turn to ourselves to try to make sense of what's going on. We try to rationalize and have our discussions about what this madness truly means. We have discussions about the politics, who's doing what and how they're doing it in reality. What you see really isn't what's going on. What you see really isn't what's going on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom has given the believers a treasure represented in the Quran. And when we maintain our connection with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala through His book, we find our security. Frequently you hear from this member the need for us to reconnect to our tradition. Renew ourselves by learning more about our faith. And I've said this to you before on several occasions particularly with regards to this fitnah that we're in the midst of right now. And a lot of the misinformation that has been disseminated amongst the masses with regards to this great deen. Those individuals who chose to try to manipulate Allah's deen for their own personal gain. And it's easy to do that with people who are disengaged from their faith, so we have to reconnect. We got to. We have to reconnect. We have to find a way to do that. We have to become students of our faith. Those of us whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed with longevity. He gave you this gift a long time ago. And you learned about your faith a long time ago. You still have to renew. You still have to re-engage. You still have to go back to doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls you to do on a regular basis, which is to reassess. We talked about this last week, ironically. And ironically, as we were on the member last week, is when a lot of this madness unfolded in Paris. And we talked last week a lot about reassessing. There isn't a soul on the face of this earth that claims to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that does not need to reassess. We all have to do that. This is a time of, we would call a gut check. Because a lot of things aren't right, brothers and sisters, and a lot of us are confused. A lot of us are overwhelmed. But there's a way for us to navigate all of this. And it starts with that. It starts with us reconnecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For He cannot guide you through difficult times if you do not have a relationship with Him. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking about Himself, referring to Himself as the one who guides, the one who is in need, the one whom hardship has befallen. And He answers your prayer, but you have to have a relationship with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're confused about something, you have to go to Allah. That's the first order of business. The first order of business in the time of fitnah is not me coming to you and us talking of some stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Spiritually, that's not helping me. That's not helping me. We can talk about everybody's foreign policy. All of that is irrelevant. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. Allah is in control. This is His earth. All of this belongs to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And regardless of what man chooses to do or how he chooses to do it, what uniform man wears, what man calls himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still in control. He's still Akbar. We can't lose sight of that. Those of us who want to continue to apologize for things that you had absolutely nothing to do with. How many times can you say that that's not Islam and that's not how Muslims behave? How many times can you say that? How many times should you continue to feel obligated to defend somebody else's nonsense? You're not obligated to do that. You're not. If you are someone who is confused about what you're supposed to be about, then you need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. You need to ask Him for guidance. Last week we talked about Tawbah. Week before last we talked about Tawbah. And part of us being okay is us continuing what we talked about last week. It's an opportunity for renewal every Friday. Every Friday, there's an opportunity for you to renew yourself. And we have to do that. That's part of the process today. What we talked about last week with regards to the reading Surah Al-Kahf, the benefit, all of those benefits, that has to be part of our everyday routine. We have to do what we have to do in order for us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in a hadith reported by Zayd ibn Thabit, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Ta'awwadu billahi min al-fitani ma zahara minha wa ma batan." This hadith is reported by Imam Muslim. Zayd ibn Haritha said that Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu says that Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that we should seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all trials, the ones that we can see and the ones that are hidden as well. Fitnah that comes to you, that's clear to you, and fitnah that comes in the shape and the form of a hidden agenda. You seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all of that. What I'm talking about right now, brothers and sisters, is that we have to engage and do. Right now, we need dua. After Tawbah, we need dua. When we hear of this madness, we need to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That should be our first response. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from that. There's a dua that Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would frequently make in reference to fitan. It's reported that he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would say on a regular basis, he would make the following dua: Allahumma inni as'aluka fi'la al-khayrat wa tark al-munkarat wa hubb al-masakin wa an taghfir li wa tarhamni wa tatuba alayk. وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُ بِعِبَادِكَ فِتْنَةً فَاقْبِضْنِي إِلَيْكَ غَيْرَ مَفْتُونٍ. This hadith is reported by Tirmidhi. And this hadith is sahih. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reported to have said, or to have made the following dua: Oh Allah, please guide me to do good. Allahumma inni as'aluka fi'la al-khayrat. And to avoid sin. وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين, and to love the poor and the disadvantaged. وأن تغفر لي وترحمني وتتوب علي. Please forgive me, have mercy on me, and accept my repentance to you. And if I seek fitnah through my actions, through my behavior with any of your servants, then please take my soul. This is what the Muslim, the mu'min, calls unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. And this is a dua, this has to be part of our arsenal. During these times, this is a dua that we need to make on a regular. We frequently talk about helping ourselves, doing something good for yourself, doing good, reassessing, taking a closer look at who you are, what you represent, what your faith means to you, how you're living your life, how you treat others. This is all part of it. And this is all included in this dua. And if you're struggling, if you've been struggling, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you with that. If you keep falling off, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help steady you. Ask Him to help steady you. Ask Him to forgive you. Ask Him for His compassion and His mercy. Make tawbah and ask Him to accept your tawbah. At the end of this dua, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned something that's extremely important. We don't want to be, when we engage with one another, or when we engage with others, period, we don't want to be the source of fitna. We don't want to be the source of discord. As a believer, I shouldn't want to do that. I should want to have a healthy relationship with my brothers and my sisters. And part of what's not discussed here, brothers and sisters, and I'm talking about in reference to this fitna, is that Muslims have been the target of this fitna. And it started with that. It started with Muslims being the target of the fitna. You're not good enough. You're not Islamic enough. You're not holy enough. You're not conservative enough. You're not this. You're not that. Your thobe isn't short enough. Your beard isn't long enough. And because you don't fit my particular criteria, therefore, somehow I have the right to put you in this space that allows me to violate you. That's the fitna. That is the fitna. This is a fitna within the ummah. And the way the ummah gets out of this is by what we're talking about right now, starting with Tawbah, starting with reassessing. We have to do that. And until we do that, it's not going to happen. When I say we, I'm talking about the collective. I'm not talking about individually. Individuals, little pockets here and there. It's not going to happen. People are going to continue to promote their agendas, whatever they may be. People who haven't prayed a rak'ah of salah, all of a sudden now you're a mujahid, give me a break. You've never read the Quran, yet for real. A lot of these things are comical, but they're predictable. Because when a person does not have the type of relationship that they ought to have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will do anything. Nothing will stop you. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can't stop you like that, meaning your connection with Him, you being fearful of Him, if that doesn't stop you, then I don't know what will. We have to continue to make dua. We have to make dua for ourselves. We have to make dua for our families. We have to teach our young these du'as. We have to get in the habit of making these du'as with our young, fortifying them with dua and dhikr. There's another dua that the Prophet ﷺ would make during a time of hardship. This hadith is reported by Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. He said that the Prophet ﷺ would say during a time of hardship, لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله العظيم الحليم لا إله إلا الله رب العرش العظيم لا إله إلا الله رب السماوات ورب الأرض ورب العرش الكريم. This hadith is reported in both Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abdullah ibn Abbas said the Prophet ﷺ would make the following dua: there is no deity but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, the Compassionate. There is no deity but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of the mighty throne. There is no deity but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of the heavens and Lord of the earth, Lord of the bountiful throne. This is what the Prophet ﷺ would say during the time of difficulty and hardship. These are things that we have to learn, brothers and sisters, and these are things that we have to use. The other thing that we constantly remind ourselves of is the importance of us reading the Quran. There's no better time than now. And if you're confused about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you, read the Quran. If you're confused about what you're supposed to be doing, read the Quran. If you need some inspiration, read the Quran. If you're feeling vulnerable and lonely, read the Quran. 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 Make it part of what you do. Make the Quran your companion. You need it. We need it. Muslims have abandoned the Quran. Everything is Sheikh so-and-so said and Sheikh so-and-so said. And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said is nowhere to be heard. Or the saying of Sheikh Fulan is placed on the same par with Allah's words. I don't think so. We have to engage with Allah's book. Always. Not sometimes. On a regular. It has to be part of what we do. The other thing that we have to do that will help us, in addition to dua, in addition to reading Quran, is dhikr. We have to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He tells us to do. Times like this, when things are difficult, you're unsure, remember Allah. In Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 28, Surah Al-Ra'd is Surah number 13, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who believe and whose hearts find peace and tranquility in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For undoubtedly, with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do hearts find peace. What do I mean by dhikr? What do I mean by remembrance? By that I mean that Allah's name is on your tongue. That you actively mention His name. Saying Allah is a form of dhikr. Saying Allah is a form of dhikr. If that's all you know is how to say Allah, say Allah. And say it over and over and over and over and over again. When you do it, you will feel the difference. We already know dhikr. We already do it. We do. It's part of our ibadah. It's part of what we do when you in your salah, when you say Allahu Akbar. That's a form of dhikr. Use that. Alhamdulillah, we say that all the time. That's a form of dhikr. Use that. Subhanallah, that's a form of dhikr. Use that. La ilaha illallah, that's a form of dhikr. Use that. You have structured forms of remembrance. If you want to use one of those, alhamdulillah, but you gotta do something. You're trying to navigate some serious evil here. You combat that with dhikr in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you can't combat that with anything else. And this is nothing but pure evil. When we're talking about the destruction of human beings, that's evil, deeply rooted evil. You combat that with the remembrance of Allah. Don't sleep dhikr. You can't. Don't look at it as something that, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that. If you read the Quran, you'll understand that that's what you're supposed to do. That's what helps sustain you, is remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا. Oh, you who believe, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often and praise Him morning and night. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying this in the Quran. This will help sustain you. You need this. And if you don't realize how much you need this, read the Quran. Allah tells you that you need this. He puts it in the form of the imperative. In essence, do this. You want success? Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want success? Remember Him. In your travels, change up your routine. Whatever it is that you do during your travels, you're traveling to work, whatever your routine is, change it up. Make some changes. The change that I'm talking about is replace whatever it is that you're doing with some remembrance. While you're driving, this is idle time. This is downtime. Use that time to remember Allah. If you're walking, if you're driving, if you're riding, remember Allah. Take time out of your day to remember Him. This will help to sustain you. This is something that you need. You can't combat this with your rationale, with you trying to make sense of why some evil person committed some evil act. You can't rationalize that. You need Allah. Your babies need Allah. Your companions need Allah. You need Allah. You need Allah. Find a way to do this. Find a way to make this part of what you do. How you sustain yourself. In addition to dhikr, you need to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you to do anyway. You want to get closer to Him? You get closer to Him by doing good deeds. Figure it out. We talk about this every Friday. Figure it out. Do something. Do something. Whatever it is, but do it. Do something. And do it for the right reason. Do it for the right reason. Be sincere. Don't do it so people can like you. Don't do it so that people can say, oh, Muslims are nice people. Muslims have a social conscience. Don't do it for that reason, because then that's shirk. You're not sincere in what you're doing, because you're doing it out of fear that somebody won't like you. You're doing it so that you can forge some type of, in your mind, what you believe to be some type of meaningful relationship. There's nothing meaningful in that. Because what's driving you is not what you're supposed to be about. What's driving you is your need for acceptance. Let not your deeds be driven by the need for others to accept you. And if we're confused about, why we continue to experience these things, I just shared with you the hadith where the dua where the Prophet ﷺ would ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him the love of those who are disadvantaged. And as we all know, for years, a lot of us Muslims, we've been negligent in that area. 9/11 happens, and all of a sudden now we're feeding everybody. All of a sudden we're feeding everybody. That's a reaction because, again, we're looking for approval. Whose approval are we seeking? Are we seeking Allah's approval? Are we seeking man's approval? Looking out for other people is something that Allah called, the Quran calls you to. Your faith calls you to this anyway. This is what we claim we believe in. No one should have to force us to do this. Yet now we've been forced to do this, some of us at least. All of a sudden now I have to put on this presentation. We got to stop that. That time, brothers and sisters, that's a waste of time. And not any amount of goodwill will help people accept who you are. We talk about the nature of sadaqah. We talk about this all the time. About what when we extend ourselves to others, what does that mean? How we extend ourselves to others, what does that mean? What exactly is going on here? If we're still under the impression that me, the giver, I'm helping someone, no, the person that you're giving to is helping you. He's giving you an opportunity to help yourself. He's giving you an opportunity to help yourself. He's helping you by accepting from you. That's part of your iman. You understand that you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through your good deeds. And if you can make a difference in somebody's life by doing some good, that person accepting that from you has helped you. And we have to be grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to give us these types of opportunities. Because guess what? I could go and try to help somebody and the person could say, you know what? Nah, I'm good. Thank you. Now imagine that. You wanted to do some good and you can't find a person to help. You're just trying to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a ni'mah that people accept from you. That's a ni'mah. That ni'mah is for you. We talk about giving da'wah and giving da'wah through living our faith. Just be Muslim. It's not complicated like that. Be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you to be. When you do that, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to convince anyone of anything. Just be as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered you to be. And that's it. All this other stuff, we got to stop that. If it's not rooted in sincerity, we shouldn't do it. If there's no ikhlas there, we shouldn't do it. And by ikhlas, if in your mind, I'm doing this so people can see that Muslims, stop, I don't need to be doing that. Because now that deed is contaminated. It's contaminated. If you are living right, this goes back to be as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you to be. If you were living right, your neighbors will know. Fulan is trustworthy. When I'm in need, when I'm hurting, he's there for me. If you're living right. If you're not living right, then Fulan, I can't trust him. The person always lying. Whenever I go to him, he's cruel. There's no compassion. That's not who we're supposed to be. Be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you to be. This is just a reminder. All the stuff that I laid out for you, all the things that will help us, inshallah, navigate this difficult time. These are things that we absolutely have to do. Make the Quran your constant companion. Find a dhikr that's suitable for you. Something that's comfortable for you. If you feel you need to go out and buy a book and, it has to be authentic, which is one of those phrases, one of those words that, we have to have. If it's not that, oh my God, I can't do it. Do something. If that's your thing, do it. And carry that, as a matter of fact, carry that with you. If you need a dua book to carry with you, carry that dua book with you. But you need to carry the remembrance of Allah with you as you navigate your day. And that shouldn't have to be in the book. Because you already know Allah's name. It should be on your tongue. Find a way. Find a way, brothers and sisters. Find a way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of us. We need His mercy and His compassion during these most difficult times. We need His guidance during these most difficult times. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He forgive us all and that He bring us all closer to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات من كل ذنب واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبيه الكريم وبعد. Brothers and sisters, in conclusion, as always, today is an awesome day. It's a blessed day. It's a day full of reward, inshallah, for the believer. Let's take full advantage of it. Take full advantage of it. Map out your day. Whatever you have planned for later on, be flexible. Be flexible. Fit Surah Al-Kahf in there somewhere. Fit part of the surah in there somewhere. Find something that you can do today for you. Find something that you can do for you. When you leave here today, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if He places an opportunity before you, that you're able to recognize the opportunity and that you take full advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Don't walk by it. Don't size it up and down. Don't stand there and, man, I don't know. Don't get into that conversation with your nafs. If you're already struggling with something, deal with whatever it is that you're struggling with. But help yourself. Help you. Because as you travel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place opportunities before you. You want to be prepared to take advantage of them. There's a true tragedy, it will be, or is, that you travel, you work your way towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all the opportunities that He has placed before you, all the chances that He gave you, you push them away. I can't do that. I can't help you. Man, get out of here. All of that is shaitan. All of that is shaitan. All of it. All of it is shaitan. And if you're confused about that being shaitan, you need to go back and you need to look at, what am I about? What do I stand for? What does my faith mean to me if I can't help somebody that's in need? Somebody that comes up to me and says, sir, can you? And it's something that you're not going to miss anyway. Work on strengthening that relationship, brothers and sisters. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Akbar. He's in control. And when you feel that you're in an environment where there is no control, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. Whoever's pulling the strings, whoever's orchestrating whatever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. We have to exercise some faith and patience. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. That's the time right now. Sabr and salah. Sabr and salah. Sabr and salah. That's that time right now. Right now, sabr and salah. We're going to be all right. You getting dirty looks, sabr and salah. Don't worry about it. Someone comes at you wrong, don't worry about it. You read something that bothers you, don't worry about it. La ilaha illallah. We're good. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this blessed day that He gives us the strength and humility. Sometimes we got to humble ourselves. So turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think in our minds, we've convinced ourselves that He can't forgive that. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. He won't accept you as you are. Yes, He will. Yes, He will. And there's nothing that's preventing you from turning to Him in sincere repentance but you. Get out of your way. Get out of your way. Get out of your own head. Stop convincing yourself that you're not good enough. Yes, you are. Stop convincing yourself that you don't have, that you've never done any right. Yes, you have. Yes, you are worthy. You're worthy of His love, His compassion, His forgiveness. You absolutely are. Recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ni'mah on you, that you are here right now. You be out somewhere else engaged in some nonsense. You're here worshiping Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recognize that. Hold on to that. Hold on to Allah's words. Hold on to Him as He tells us in the Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Hold on to that. We need that right now, brothers and sisters. We need to fortify our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to all do that. We need to all engage in collective dua, where there is power and strength in collective dua. Now I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accept our prayers, He accept our dua, that He forgive us our sins, that He accept our tawbah, I pray to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala that He relieve us of our anxiety, our stress, our fears, that He replace that with that tuma'nina, that He refers to, that peace and tranquility that He refers to in His book, that He gives us that, and that we find a way to get some of that because we need that. We need that. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He protect us all from the fire. That He grant us all the Jannah. That He make us all from amongst those who will benefit from the intercession of His beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That we get some of that barakah. That we are amongst the lucky ones. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accept from us all. ألا وصلوا على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين فقد أمركم الله بذلك في كتابه العزيز. قال جل من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. ويقول عليه أفضل الصلاة والتسليم من صلى عليه مرة صلى الله عليه بها عشرة. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وأنعم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. And before I close, brothers and sisters, I really want to say this. Part of one of the biggest problems that we have to overcome this. We got to overcome this. We got to overcome the us against them mentality that we have, which is a misrepresentation of what we're supposed to be about. For I cannot give da'wah to someone who knows that deep within me, I hate them. I can't give anybody any da'wah like that. And that's not what I'm supposed to be. We're supposed to want this good for everyone, for all of humanity. When you talk about how we engage with other people and our behavior, show some compassion. The same way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed you mercy and compassion, and He dragged you out of that muck and mire, and you're here. He saved you from that. You should want the same for the entirety of humanity. That's your approach. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He softens our hearts. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. Strengthen your ranks. Complete the first line first, inshallah. Close gaps. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله
فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.